We are continuing on with our Nissan Skyline R32 GTS-T build. In today's episode, we're going to button up a few systems such as the fuel system, intercooler piping, exhaust system, and even get into some interior work, so let's get into it.
We are gonna move on to the front mount intercooler. So as you can see, we have our intercoolers, which we already have mounted here. And I have it off because I wanted to figure some stuff out. Right now I'm gonna mount it back in the car, and then we're gonna start figuring out the piping for it. So as you can see on this side where the throttle body is, the original throttle body was on this side, right? It was coming, they were both coming from this side. And the original intercooler piping ran here. There was one smaller hole here and another one here. In our case, we are gonna go move into a bigger hole. One center one, we're gonna go down over this way into the intercooler. We're gonna come right back out this side and gonna go up the same side but on the opposite side of the car. We're gonna go right back to our throttle body. And that's pretty much how it's gonna be looking. I just gotta route it, figure it out, make some cuts and welds, and we'll get this thing done. So I made a line here to cut here, and then with this pipe, as I showed you right now, I just cut it. Just picture this thing going the opposite way, and it's shooting straight down right in the center. My next step is to cut this one, and then after I make this cut, we'll measure, and then we'll make a hole here, and then we'll fit it through. Well, while I was drilling this hole for the intercooler pipe to go through, the drill bit broke, and they scratched the hell out of the area that was supposed to stay painted. Yes, that's the gist. Yeah.
Ricky!
What's up?
What happened?
It's, yeah.
Don't worry, we're gonna fix it.
All right, our next step to get this intercooler piping completely done is gonna be getting these things welded. But before we weld it, I actually need to recreate these flanges that you see here, these flares that you see at the end of this pipe, at the end of this one, since we ended up cutting the one that was here to make it shorter. So we have our flare machine here from Eastwood, and what it is a bead roller, and we are gonna insert this here, and this is gonna spin this thing all the way around 360 degrees, and it's gonna create that flare right here.
Ricky has just finished up getting all of the intercooler piping all mocked up, and what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna put just a small tack weld on each thing. Ricky's gonna go put it back in the car, test fit everything, and once everything is confirmed good, we're gonna go ahead and do a bead all the way around. Any of the joints that we can turn to weld as opposed to running a coupler, it just looks a lot cleaner. So we've done this, what, how many times now?
Too many times.
A lot of times. The other thing Ricky's doing right now is just taping up the piping just to prevent or reduce any scratches. Like, it's bound to happen a little bit, but anything we can do to reduce any scratches will just make our life easier for the long run. So let's go ahead and tack this up. He's already got this all marked, and we're gonna be using our Lincoln 225 TIG here. I've got it all set up on AC current. We've got a small cup, freshly sharpened tungsten, and some filler rod here. So, you ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Now that Ricky has confirmed everything fits, I'm gonna go ahead and weld a bead all the way around on this one and this pipe here. So 2 joints on this one on that one. It should be pretty quick, so let's get into it. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the throtl YouTube channel and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss an episode.
Evan just finished rolling these 2 pipes. It is finally time for me to put them in for the last time, so let's just get started. Intercooler piping is installed and bolted. Right on this area, I'm gonna end up adding a tab. So I'm gonna put a flat piece of aluminum straight down, and it's gonna bolt to this piece of rubber. And I'm gonna isolate it right underneath. That way we have a support part for this pipe, and it's also heating at the same time. And once that's done, we are gonna move into the exhaust system, finally. I don't wanna bore you guys making this bracket, so with the power of editing, when I get back, this thing is gonna be done. Just like that, a tap is made. I'm just gonna get Quinn right now to give a quick little weld so we can test it, and then we'll do a full weld. And yeah, it should be done for that side. This is the intercooler piping is completed. As you can see, we got the brace, it's bolted out, and everything is clamped down. And that's it. Intercooler done. Off the list.
We have our drive shaft reinstalled. We got our slave reinstalled. We got a couple of things like this. This is the vehicle speed sensor and the transmission back in. I did want to get all this stuff back in, just kind of peace of mind, get everything up off the floor. Now that this is done, we're gonna put the car on the ground and we're gonna move on to our new beautifully recovered dashboard, which is gonna be awesome. So let's get into it.
Now it's time to get all the inner workings from our old dash to our new dash. So let's get to work so we can finally toss this new interior into our Skyline. So now that all the plastic stuff from our old dash that we took out of this R32 in the beginning of this build has been transferred over to this excellent R32 dash that was supplied to us from Top Rank, our guy Yaska over there, sourced this for us, and now it's ready to go in the car.
That looks really good.
They're over there by you. Whoa, whoa, Ricky, get that dome out the way. What are you doing?
Let me have it.
See the bag.
It's not even in yet.
The vents, dude. Everything is so fresh and so dark. It looks so freaking good, dude. You guys have this bolted down?
No.
I cannot wait till this comes back together, dude. The cool thing is literally the entire interior is going to look as nice as this dash. It is going to be so freaking cool, man.
Dash is installed, is bolted in, the harness is ran through. The next step is gonna be the cluster for it. And let me show you what it looks like, because it doesn't look very good. Look at this thing. And it does not come off that easy. So I'm gonna take this thing off and I'm gonna polish it. Kind of like you polish a headlight. And I'm gonna put it back in and it should look pretty much brand new. Up next, we have the gauge cluster cover, and this thing has a bunch of switches. Got the light switch, defroster, fog lights, more fog lights, I don't know what that is, and then wiper blades. So there's a lot of plugs I need to plug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plugs. As you guys can see, here is the door panel for the driver's side. It has been reupholstered by AP Upholstery. We got suede at the bottom, leather on top, and we have a silver stitching right down the middle. So I'm doing the exact same thing I did on the driver's side, working on the passenger door panel now. I got 2 of the holes already trimmed, which is the power window and then the door handle, and then I'm working on the actual, door handle. Then this is the actual handle to close it. So I'm working on this right now, and then after this, we'll be working on the speaker hole. All right, this thing is finished. Time to put it on the door.
I'm gonna move on to this, which is our fuel system. So we have a lot of really cool components. We're gonna be running dash 6 and pretty much on the entire system. The first component we're gonna be installing is our new fuel pump hanger. This is by Frenchie's Performance, and it has bulkheads on it that are already set for dash 6. Really cool component. It's gonna avoid us going from factory to adapter to dash 6. We're gonna be running a DW400 fuel pump. This fuel pump is gonna be a little bit stronger than it really needs to be for the power level we're going to, but good fuel is never a bad idea. We're also gonna be installing our flex fuel sensor. So this is the first piece of our engine management system. We're gonna be running a link, and this is the ethanol sensor for that. So we're gonna be running flex fuel and some other miscellaneous stuff like the fuel pressure regulator. We have a slew of DeishWorks parts that are gonna be going in as well. So I'm gonna get started on that. So we got our Frenchie's drop-in hanger set up with our DeishWorks fuel pump inside. Will did an excellent job cleaning up our wiring. So we don't actually have our lines made to attach to the fuel pump hanger, so we can't put the rest of the trunk back together. But that's what I'm gonna be starting on next. So I got all of our DeishWorks stuff out. We have fittings, we have line, we have our fuel filter, pressure regulator, we have our fuel pressure gauge, and our flex fuel sensor. All need to get mounted up in the engine bay, so that's what I'm gonna be working on next. From there, then we can start putting together our beautiful lines to hook this thing up completely. So I'm gonna get started on that.
So Ricky and I are picking up where Quinn left off. We now need to get the car on the lift and up in the air, and we're gonna find out where we can mount our fuel filter. This is gonna interrupt between the pump and the rail, and then run some lines up to our fuel rail, which is already mounted on the motor. Let's get this thing up. I think we found our spot. We have a nice frame rail side right here. Maybe we can use some of these pre-drilled M6, like the welded in nuts or nut, but that's why this is where we want to do it. We have a 45 kickoff that's going to follow these hard lines that are from the factory. Then we have another, we may go straight or we may go 45 again down. We're just going to run along with the path that's already for these types of lines. We have a send and return. So we now have our send because this is the fuel filter. This is what's going to go from the pump to the rail. Boom, there's our first fuel line. This is gonna be feeding the back of the rail. So we're gonna actually reuse the hard lines. They are already pinned up against the frame. It's really clean looking. So now we're gonna go ahead and run from the pump to the back of the fuel filter. So now I have a straight AN to put on it just like I did the 90. We have an AN690 coming right out here from the pump. This is what I just kind of fed through the frame, following the hard lines. So now I'm just gonna loosely thread this on. We'll run this, zip tie it up what the path is gonna be, find out exactly what our length is, cut it, put another straight, and then that is from the pump to the filter.
All right, well, we got our PETR exhaust from Greddy/Trust. We've been using them on a lot of our older 90s Japanese cars because it's a throwback design that's made currently today, but it looks like what would have been brand new back in the 90s, which to me is very cool and nostalgic. Really forward thought of Greddy to do that and to bring these over to the States and make for sale for all of us enthusiasts here. So this exhaust is actually for an R32 GTR, not a GTS-T, but we're gonna see if we can make it work. I'm pretty sure that we can, because we have saws and welders here, so we're definitely gonna be able to make it work. All right, Ricky's got this tightened up, and the first thing we noticed is the hanger that is here is obviously not in the right location for a GTS-T. We don't have my GTR here, so we can't reference it. So what we're gonna do is, it's not that far off over here, so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cut the hanger off the exhaust, and we're just gonna move it up here to a better location where we can hit it on the factory location. Ricky cut off the hanger. I put it in our rubber hanger, and this is where we're gonna weld it, right there.
Just finished welding this up. It's gonna go in for the last time. All right, so right now we got our cut perfectly, and the next step is we are trying to make sure everything stays in place by using zip ties, tape, and everything we can get our hands off. So I can put a couple of tack welds here and over here, one probably there and one here, and then we'll be able to take this thing out and then weld all the way around.
All right, what's your plan here, Ricky?
All right, you see that opening? Tack, tack! And then we're gonna
Tack, tack.
tack, tack! And then we're gonna tack, tack!
That's being attacked.
And then we're gonna
You're attacked, they're attacked, everywhere attacked.
1, 2, 3, 4 times. And then we're going back in.
We're gonna do a weld on bung so that we can put our O2 sensor in a proper location here. This is gonna get welded on like so. Allow us to put a proper O2 sensor in for our Link ECU to measure the air and fuel. And we can pop this thing back in.
All right, moving on with the fuel system. Ricky, what's next, bro? We got hard lines, we got soft lines. How do we marry those two?
This is our return and this is our feed. As you can see, they're both ending here. So these are our actual original return and feed line for the engine and the return for the fuel tank. So we are going to utilize the same hard lines that go through here because Nissan already did the job for us. It's all nice and tidy. They got brackets for it. So we are going to cut them here, and we are going to put a dash 6 fitting to each one of those lines, and we are going to attach them to there.
Cool, that size up our fuel system. We now have it coming from the pressure regulator and back up to the rail. Here's our hard line to soft line flare to AN6. We utilize the mounts and the brackets to hold these lines in place and looking really sharp. Fuel filter right here, this is coming straight from the pump. It's gonna go straight to the rail once the fuel is filtered. And here's our return line going all the way back to the pump.
So unfortunately, this is all the time we have for today's video. We did get a lot done. We got the front intercooler done. We got the entire fuel system done, the door cards, the dash, the Grady exhaust, and we also have the downpipe, custom-made downpipe all the way down. We are not quite done with that. Yeah, that's about 95% done. We still gotta do the wastegate, and we still have to do the header wrapping, which we are gonna do in the future episodes. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Turn the camera off, see what happens. Ooh. Wait. I'm making
A chicken thigh fight?
this is how a rooster fight, bro. Watch. That's how you get him, bro.